Reng Chan Chan Nam Mô Hô Reng Chan Chan Nam Mô Hô Reng Chan Chan Nam Mô Hô Reng Chan.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We will start in about 30 seconds. Thank you all for coming in early. So I'm Ziting, and leading us in the Daimoku in the prayer just now was Ivan. So thank you all once again for joining us for today's sharing, Living the NHR sessions. And I'll be the host for today. So just a few announcements before we start our sharing. Some ground rules, and also so everyone understand how this is carried out. So we will be muting and offing everyone's microphones and video. So please, you don't have to feel obliged, and you don't have to turn on your videos for safety. And also, we want to let you know that the chat function for this sharing has been disabled, so you will not be able to receive or send any chat messages publicly or privately. Next, we encourage all of you to feel free to change your name or your email address to a nickname that you may feel safer to. You don't have to worry if you are not comfortable revealing your particulars to anyone throughout the whole Zoom session. And also, if anyone throughout the session would like to ask Ivan any questions, feel free to Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp him for the Q&A session. So just to let you know, Ivan's email is ivanlimjingguo@gmail.com. So let me spell it out: ivanlimjingguo@gmail.com. Is that right, Ivan?
That is correct.
Yay! So ivanlimjingguo@gmail.com. So you can feel free to ask your questions throughout the whole session, and after Ivan's sharing, we will be able to, he'll be selecting the questions and answering them. So we'll be allowing everyone to, we're not gonna lock the room today. So if you have more friends who are going to come in, feel free to let them in, let them know that the room will open. And also at 9:35, we'll start our Q&A session. So without further ado, let me welcome and introduce Ivan. Ivan is a really vibrant young man who has gone through so much in his very young life. And I feel like just his demeanor alone, right, can encourage so many people. But while our, we can't judge a book by its cover, what one may think that Ivan is living a life without any worries, but let's hear from Ivan today, what he has been through, and also let's learn together with his experience. So Ivan, please.
Okay, thank you, Ziting. Before I start my sharing, I actually prepared a song. So this song is what I wrote a couple of years ago, and I wrote this song particularly for the members of SGI, for our mentor, Ikeda Sensei. So if you just spare me a moment, I'll just sing you the song. So weird. Stand up tall, stand up now, 'cause you alone can change anything and everything. The universe is between your fingers. Use your voice and roar like a lion. Stand up tall, stand up now. Okay, thank you. Okay, so good evening, everyone. If you are in the USA, good morning. My name is Ivan, and I was born and raised in Singapore. I am a Soka Gakkai International member, SGI in short, and I practice Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. The SGI is present in 192 countries around the world, including USA, Canada, Europe, Japan, Korea, India, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, you name it, we have it. All right. For the benefit of new friends who might not be familiar with the SGI and our Buddhist practice, we chant Nam-myo Horenge Kyo as the core of our daily Buddhist practice. And Dr. Daisaku Ikeda is the president of the SGI and a person whom we all regard as our mentor. We call him Ikeda Sensei. Before I start my sharing officially, I want to give you a question to ponder. So here it goes. Can anything prepare you for the moment, for the day when your mom commits suicide? Ready? Let's go. So my parents divorced when I was little, and even though my mom had started chanting before I was born, I was raised in a different religion. I was raised by my loving late grandparents and my aunts who take great care of me and my elder sister. I love my family dearly, and as loving as they are, I personally went through a lot of inner struggles growing up. I used to question why I was born. I used to question my pain, my suffering. I was just a kid, so it was pretty intense for any kid to question their existence, to question why you were born. So flash forward to when I was 18 years old, I was introduced to this book you might know. It's called The Secret. We spoke about the law of the universe, the law of attraction, and I found it very interesting, very intriguing, and very empowering. I thought it made sense, and I vaguely thought it resembled the Buddhism that my mom was practicing. So growing up, I did not see my mom very often, but many times my mom would call me and tell me to chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo whenever I encountered any difficulties. But I never did, of course. But I remembered those words that she told me. And so, with The Secret, I started to find out more about the SGI. And the more I found out, I became acquainted with many new friends from the SGI. There were people from different walks of life, different ages, different cultures, different personalities, a whole diverse bunch. And I was introduced to various books written by Ikeda Sensei. Through the many books that he wrote, I came to understand the philosophy of Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. And reading is a powerful phenomenon. It transcends time and space. Through reading, I felt as though I was having a dialogue with my mentor, Ikeda Sensei. I saw the world through his lens, and I found a lifelong mentor in a man who exemplified my deepest wishes. So Ikeda Sensei writes or submits an annual peace proposal to the UN, and he advocates for many world issues, including equality, including human rights, including climate change, and many other issues worth our attention. His books, his writings, his ideals, his philosophy inspired me to my very core. And what's more inspiring is to be surrounded by fellow SGI members from different walks of life, people of different ages, different personalities, but people who share and cherish those very same noble ideals. At the heart of what inspired me the most was the revolutionary concept that I have the power to change my life, that I have the power to overcome my circumstances, that I deserve to be happy. I felt empowered. In fact, at a very early stage, I read this testimonial. It said that those who suffer the most deserve to be the happiest. I found that still powerful. So studying and understanding Buddhism has enabled me to answer all the questions that used to haunt me, that used to bother me. Question that used to cause me so much pain and misery. So I used to think that some sort of God had created me and everyone, right, so equally. But if that was so, why was life so unfair? Why was my life so unfair? So I used to pray for someone out there, someone, something, to make my life better for me. I used to pray that things would change the better for me. But did they? So in Buddhism, we work differently. In Buddhism, it's about reason, and Buddhism is based on science. As science advances, the validity of Buddhism would be proven. In fact, Albert Einstein, the scientist, was quoted saying, if there is any religion that could cope with modern scientific needs, it would be Buddhism. And another great scientist, Stephen Hawking, once said, I believe the simplest explanation is there is no God. No one created the universe, and no one directs our fate. Studying Buddhism has allowed me to understand the experiences that I went through, and I was able to reconcile that no one created my life for me, and therefore no one was responsible for my fate. No one was responsible for my life except for myself. And that was so empowering. That was such a relief. In Buddhism, the concept of karma, of cause and effect, is simple yet profoundly revolutionary. You sow what you reap. If you want to know what causes were made in the past, look at the present. But more importantly, the concept of karma teaches that the future, your future, my future, is decided by the causes that we create right now. Cause and effect, right? While I cannot undo the past causes, I can create new causes. I can create the future that I truly want. I feel empowered to take full responsibility for my own life. In the SGI, the single greatest cause that one can make is simply by chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And I desperately wanted to change my life. I've been searching my whole life for change. So when I encountered Buddhism, I dived into my practice and I chanted hours and hours each day. It was a very engaging and eye-opening experience. The more I read and studied Buddhism, the more I understood my own life. The dots began to connect and my past experiences started to make sense. It's important to know and remember that when we chant, we are chanting to manifest the Buddha nature within us, to bring forth the power from within. Now, Buddha is not some supernatural being. As Ikeda Sensei puts it, a Buddha is a person who is undefeated by the difficult challenges of this real world, who is fully engaged in the responsibility of daily life, and who shines as the most human of human beings. So when we chant, we are not begging or hoping for some help or salvation. Our chanting is a powerful determination to take full responsibility for our life and circumstances, to change from within. And when a powerful transformation starts from within ourselves, we will be able to effect a positive effect on the world around us, because we are all interconnected. And everyone around us, we are a micro universe living in this macro universe. So studying Buddhism served as the foundation of my Buddhist practice, but that was just the start. And soon a series of events soon happened, which allowed me to deepen my understanding of Buddhism with my life. So my first prime point in life was when I was 20 years old. I had to enlist into the military for my BMT in Pulau Tekong. For those of you who don't know, in Singapore, when you are a man and you are above 18 years old, you have to enlist into the military for 2 years of mandatory service. So I was in BMT for 2 months. I would be stuck in camp for 5 days and would only be allowed to return home briefly over the weekend before heading back to camp on Sunday nights. The training was tough, and to make it worse, I was surrounded by young hooligans and delinquents with tattoos inked all over their bodies who enjoyed smoking whenever they're free and cursing at each other. It was a horrible, horrible experience, and I dreaded it really. So during one of my first weekends, when I first enlisted, my mom was sentenced to jail for a crime that she had committed. I vividly remember having to return to camp on a Sunday night. My mom saw me out to the lift lobby. She was looking at me as I entered the lift. She was crying. She did not say anything. She was going to be incarcerated the next day. So looking at her, I cried too. I cried as I walked to the bus stop. I cried as I boarded the bus. I cried the whole night, thinking and worrying about her, about how she would go through that painful experience in prison. So after a while, after a couple of months, we were allowed to visit my mom in prison. And I went there once. But as much as I tried to control my tears, I couldn't. When I saw her, I just broke and poured. As she stood at the other side of the room, as a glass panel stood between us. So during that time, I had the great good fortune to be part of the Soka Youth musical in 2010. That was 10 years ago. So Soka Youth musical, in short, we call it SYM. I was part of the stage hands, helping out with carrying the stage props and logistics on and off stage. It was through SYM that I was inspired by many youth around me. Everyone had their own struggles. I was not alone. In fact, one YWD, one girl, she was my age, we were 20 years old. Her dad passed away at that musical. And while she had every right to be miserable, to be devastated, to be broken, she chose to be strong, she chose to be courageous, and she chose to be cheerful instead. In fact, I recall she declared with a bright smile on her face that she was determined to perform to the best of her abilities in memory of her late father. There were so many other memorable encounters with youth around me. I learned so much about Buddhism through their behavior. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at the rehearsals for SYM. And so it was through this bittersweet experience that cemented my first prime point in faith. I chanted for my mom, and through my actions, I refused to be defeated. I later learned from her that she made several friends in prison who took great care of her. Now, my second prime point in faith was accepting myself for who I am. I had known that I liked guys ever since I was in kindergarten. I did not know that I was gay, did not know what gay meant. I just knew that I was attracted to guys. I was called names, a lot of names growing up by many people. Sissy, girly, gay, aqua, papo, you name it, I've been called that. It hurts, and there was no one to turn to. Many times, I wanted to end my life, to end my pain and end my sufferings. And one particular day, I felt as though I was at my last straw. I really could have stood on a chair at the kitchen of my house and jumped down that building. But one thought held me back. One person held me back, and that was my mom. The very thought that killing myself would cause my mom pain, would make her cry, stopped me at my tracks. So I would not do anything to cause harm to myself or cause her to cry. I was just 14 years old then. My sister, my elder sister, was the first to practice Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. But growing up, she and I, we were like sworn enemies. We often fought and argued. I felt that she hated me and that she liked her friends way better than me until one night. So when I was 20 years old, I was still in the army and my mom had been released from prison. She was sentenced to a couple of months of imprisonment. My sister that night came out to me unexpectedly. We were sleeping on a mattress at the living room of my mom's house, and we had our first ever dialogue. It meant the world to me. I remember our conversation, even till today. She opened her heart to me. She confided in me and told me that she was confused about her sexuality. She wondered if she was bisexual. But why? Why ask me? Did she know that I was gay? Maybe she knew. So anyway, I told her my thoughts about sexuality because, well, I'm gay. I'm an expert, right? So I told her that I was gay. And to my surprise, she was surprised. And I remember this part of our conversation vividly. She told me that she had asked my mom this question: what if she was bisexual? And my mom said the most beautiful thing. She said, as long as you are happy. I was surprised at how liberal and loving my mom was. So the next day, I came out to my mom. And my mom's response took me by surprise somehow. I told my mom that I'm gay. And after some silence, she replied, I know. Now that was not the response that I had expected. Not that I expect anything actually. I just felt that it was maybe safe to come out to my mom since my sister already did. But to hear her say that she knew was just unbelievable. And I asked her, how did she know? She told me, because I am your mom. Now that gave me the courage to come out to everyone around me. But still, it wasn't easy. After all, everyone around me is not my mom. After coming out to my mom for a couple of days, I invited her to a gay parade in Singapore called Pink Dot. When I invited my mom, her response surprised me again. She was upset that I invited her and ignored me. I was confused. I thought she was okay with me being gay. So what happened? So I asked her over lunch the next day, what happened? And she explained to me after I probed a lot, of course. She explained that she was worried about me. Of course, she's okay with me being gay. She's my mom. She loves me. But she's concerned about how my relatives, about how others would look at me. Because in Singapore, after all, we have stereotypes. We have discrimination. It may not be spoken. It may be a huge white elephant, but yeah. So I told her that since I have the courage to come out to her, I have the courage to overcome whatever challenges that may arise. Since then, I continued to struggle and question myself. Why should I come out? What difference would it make? I thought long, I thought hard, and I searched and studied the stance that Buddhism has on homosexuality. And the answer turned out to be very simple. Buddhism advocates for the respect for the dignity of life. And what that means is that every human being, every living being, including you and me, we are all equally worthy of respect, regardless of our perceived differences, including my sexual orientation. I felt valued, I felt respected, I felt empowered by the teachings of Buddhism. So I decided that I wanted to come out because I wanted my family to know the real me. And more importantly, I wanted to know them as well. Because growing up, I felt that no one understood me. I felt that I was distant from everyone around me. And I did not have any friends growing up. In fact, just to share with you a funny incident. So I remember I was 14 years old. Those of you in Singapore, you would relate to this. So when we were young, when we were teenagers, we loved going to Orchard Road. That was the place to hang out. But of course, there was no one to hang out with me. So on one weekend, I went to Orchard on my own, went to Hearing on my own, bought some music, some CDs, bought myself a movie ticket, and while waiting for the movie to be screened, I bought myself lunch. And guess where I had my lunch? I went to the toilet, I hid in the bathroom, and I ate there. Yeah, so that was me. So I was too used to building walls around me. The walls to protect me from being bullied, from being called names, from being hurt. But those walls that were meant to protect me have started to confine me. So I chanted many hours of Daimoku, and I continued to read and study Buddhism. After studying and reading the various books written by Ikeda Sensei, and I eventually plucked out the courage to come out to the people around me. My life began to change. I was nervous about their response, really, but I'm deeply grateful. I'm deeply fortunate that my family and my friends were supportive and loving. I felt as though a huge stone that had weighed down my chest for the longest time was finally lifted. And I did it. I wanted to come out because I wanted to change the relationship I had with people around me. And while I succeeded at coming out alone did not change my relationships. And it took me a while to realize that. To realize that I needed to continue to grow, to open my heart, to open my mouth, to share my thoughts and feelings with people around me. Then instead of building walls around me, I need to learn to build bridges. I need to become the change that I wanted to see. I needed to break through my comfort zone. I needed to do my human revolution. It was new, it was awkward, and I had to make awkward conversations. I had to continue awkward conversations. I can still remember how awkward it was for me to confront my usual habit of leaving and ending conversations. But since then, slowly but surely, I began to open up and develop amazing relationship with my family, with my friends, with incredible human beings. And many of you are in this room right now. So thank you. Next, about my mom. My mom and I have a profound bond, not just because we are mother and child, but because I strongly believe that she chanted a lot for me. For example, when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend of 3 years, I was devastated. I fell into a 5-month-long depression. I would sleep in the wee hours of the night and wake up late in the afternoon. And even though I was 25 years old, I was unemployed and I was not really looking for a job. I remember calling my mom when it happened, when I was brokenhearted. I was crying and crying, crying, crying. She had no idea what happened. But hearing her voice was enough to comfort me. Someone cares for me. Someone loves me unconditionally. I am not alone. After all, that was my greatest fear, to be alone. However, 1 week after my 29th birthday, that was about 2 years ago, my mom had done the single one thing that I had wanted to do when I was 14 years old. I was on a train on my way to the monthly SGI discussion meeting when I received the fateful call from my stepfather. He sounded hysterical. He cried out loudly over the phone, saying my mom was gone. What do you mean my mom is gone? I clarified. She killed herself. She jumped down. I could not believe my ears. Yes, my mom had been battling depression for many years, and she had wanted to kill herself numerous times. But there's no way that she had did it, right? So I tried to calm him down, and I told him that I would be there with him soon. So immediately after I hung the phone call, I called my sister to inform her, and it was my turn to break down. My voice was breaking, my heart was racing, and my sister took me to chant. So chant I did. That was all I did. I chanted and I chanted and I chanted and I chanted while waiting for my sister to arrive. And she arrived. And we both chanted until we arrived at the scene. We saw the tentage. We saw my stepfather seated next to the tentage. We saw police cars and we saw police officers. There and then, we knew exactly what had happened. My sister started to cry, and I began to sober up. I knew there and then that I have to be the son of my family. It has been 2 years since that day, and there have been several nights when I miss my mom, and on nights when my emotional bank was overflowing, I would cry and express how much I miss her. But on every other day, I was just numb to be honest, on the inside, that is. After 6 months of my mom's passing, during our Chinese New Year in February, I wanted to get away from formalities. I hated Chinese New Year. I hated formalities. So I went to Manila for a solo trip. In part, to give myself time and space to feel every pain and every emotion head on. So I remember at one night in Manila, I was all alone, of course, in a hotel, in a skyscraper. I opened the window to the balcony overlooking the skyscraper. It was windy, and if I wanted to do it, I could. There was nothing to hold me back. And I needed to do that for me. So did I? Of course not. But I could. But nope, I don't want to. There's so much to live for. Yes, there's a lot of pain, there's loss, and there's grief. But there's also hope. There's also love. And there's so much hope. Every time I chant, there's newfound hope. Every time I chant, I find new reasons to live. New determination to live. There's so much worth living for. I love my life. To conclude, so this brings me back to the initial question that I gave everyone to ponder about at the very start. I asked everyone this question. Can anything prepare you for the moment, for the day when your mother commits suicide? Now, my answer is this. Everything in my life prepared me for the moment when my mom killed herself. Just like the swamp in which the lotus plants grow in, the muddy water provides the needed nutrients for the growth of the lotus plant. And earlier in my sharing, I mentioned about the many questions that used to haunt me when I was younger. And I shared that through my study of Buddhism, I was able to connect the dots and make sense of my life. So I chose to be born in my family, as broken and as incomplete as it was. I chose to be born as a homosexual, as a misfit, as an outcast. I chose all my life circumstances. In Buddhism, this is known as voluntarily assuming one's appropriate karma. I chose my life. I chose my karma. No one gave it to me. No one created it for me. I chose my mission. Because I wanted to demonstrate the power of the human spirit. Because I want to demonstrate that all of us, simple, ordinary human beings, have the power within us to overcome each and every single challenge that arises in our lives. That as long as we choose to remain undefeated, that as long as we persevere in chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, as long as we do not give up, we will win in the end. We will win without fail. As Nichiren Daishonin says, those who believe in the Lotus Sutra are as if in winter. But winter always turns to spring. Never from ancient times on has anyone seen or heard of winter turning back to autumn. Nor have we ever heard of a believer in the Lotus Sutra who turned into an ordinary person. So today is May 3rd. And May 3rd is known as the Mentor and Disciple Day in the SGI. My lifelong mentor, Ikeda Sensei, has proven and demonstrated with his life the infinite potential that an ordinary human being has. As his disciple, I am determined to follow his example. Now, for many of you who may not be familiar with the term mentor, a mentor is not someone whom you idolize. It's not a god. A mentor is someone like a coach who trains you, who fosters you, who develops you to enable you to fulfill and manifest your fullest potential. So as the disciple of my mentor, Ikeda Sensei, I do not look up to him. In fact, what we all do is that we look at the same direction as him. We look towards the same goals, the same ideals as him. Now, what are those goals? World peace, happiness for all humanity, equality, respect, climate change. So, I determined to grow into a capable person who not only can overcome and surmount the various challenges in my own life, but I want to become someone who can inspire everyone around me to awaken them to that inner potential and power to do the same for their own lives. Thank you, and that's my sharing for tonight.
Woohoo! Thank you so much, Ivan.
Yeah.
If anyone would like to give any reactions, right, you can go to the reaction and then click either the thumbs up or the applause. I'm sure everyone wants to. And Ivan, just want to let you know that so many of us, right, deeply cherish and are very thankful for your courageous sharing tonight. Thank you so much. And also, I believe I'm speaking for many people right now. Thank you so much for loving yourself and staying on this journey with everyone. I'm really touched to be able to hear and witness your sharing on this significant Suka Gakkai Day, and that that all of us we can move ahead tomorrow, right, with the same courageous and powerful intention and prayers, just like you have done every single day. Thank you so much. Now I would like to give 3 minutes, right, for all of us to consider if there are any questions or comments you would like to ask Ivan or say to him. What you can do is if you know Ivan personally, you can Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp him. And for those who don't have his direct contact, you can also email Ivan now,
Yes.
or maybe later on, it's fine also. You can email him at Ivan Lim Jingguo. I will spell it IvanLimJinguo@gmail.com. So you can do that. We'll have like 2 minutes more. And also, if anyone would not be able to would like to have a comment or question that you would really like to touch on, like almost immediately, Ivan, are you open, right, if let's say the participants can select the raise hand icon, and then I will select so that 1 or 2 of them can give their impressions or questions to you?
Absolutely, but I want to give you a caveat, okay? For you people out there, if you attempt to do anything funny, we'll remove you.
Yes. This is a disclaimer. If anyone were to do anything that does not respect a life,
Yeah,
then we will have to remove you.
correct. Yeah, like don't show your nipple. I don't see your nipple. Don't like sing hallelujah. Yeah, just be a nice human being, and I will answer your question with my heart.
Thank you. So anyone would like to raise hands? If you raise your hand, I will be able to unmute your microphone.
Yeah. So,
Ivan,
yeah.
Do you have any question that's coming in from your platform? I have one question over here.
Okay, maybe you can start.
Yes, maybe I will ask first, and then later on, if you have any questions from your platform, you can ask as well. So question number one, this is from an anonymous friend. The question goes like this: how do you think this relates to people who are not LGBT? How do you think we can bridge that gap, especially in a society like Singapore? I think like maybe like the society like Singapore, that kind of what kind of context it is, maybe it could be something that you whatever it means to you. Yeah, is the question clear enough? What do you think? How do you think we can relate to people who are not LGBT, and how can we bridge that gap, especially in a society like Singapore?
Thank you for asking this question. Okay, it's a great question. When I was struggling to come out, when I was thinking, why should I come out? What good would it do to anyone, really? It's not like cancer, right? I mean, if you have cancer, you should tell everyone. It's not cancer. It's nothing. It's not depression. It's not a mental illness. It's just a sexual orientation. And yet, it's so hard to share, right? It's so hard to open up sometimes to people around you because you may not feel safe, you may not feel comfortable, and you may have the impression that no one cares about you, no one cares about what your orientation is. Fine, sure, you're gay, live your life, I don't care. So why should you come out? Why should you put yourself through that struggle, through that process? For what? So I thought long and hard, why should I do it? And among many thoughts, one thought was, I took 20 years to accept myself. I took 20 years to accept myself for who I am. So how can I expect anyone to accept me faster than myself? And that was a very powerful realization that I had. With that in mind, I decided that, okay, so if I really want to come out, don't expect anything from anyone. So why do it? Do it because, as I shared earlier, in part, because I wanted my family and people who love me to know me for who I am. And because I needed to do that for myself. I needed to break through. I needed to acknowledge myself. And after I came out, I realized that my life was the same. It did not change anything really. Coming out, telling the whole world I'm gay really does not do anything at all. And that was another powerful realization that so what if you are out? So what if everyone knows that you're gay? What is the point? Again, So the point then would be to stop giving myself the excuse. Stop giving myself the excuse that, oh, because no people don't know me, that's why I can say that I'm distant and alone. I wanted to remove that excuse that I gave myself. So sorry, to relate back to the question finally, to someone who is not gay, who's not LGBT, I think that number one, it is to love yourself. True, you are straight, you are not gay, but does that mean that you do not go through any struggles of your own? Any inner conflicts of your own? Now, I'm pretty sure that every single human being, gay or straight, you go through your fair share of shit, your fair share of struggles. And being gay is just one excuse to label yourself as, I'm gay, so I'm entitled to this share of struggle. But no, not really. The whole world, whether you're gay or straight or bi or whatever you are, you will go through your own fair share of struggles. So my sharing is really for everyone listening to love yourself. And love yourself so much that you know your weaknesses, that you know your shortcomings. And to know it so well and to love yourself so well that when you see someone who has similar shortcomings, you will love and embrace them as you would to yourself. And even more importantly, if you observe and notice someone who is different from you, whatever that difference is, that you would love them and accept them for that. Because everyone is different too. So yeah, I hope that my answer answers this question.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Yeah, indeed. Buddhism is really about loving yourself and also being true to yourself and cherishing the person that you are. I believe that, right, it's not for any of us to tell someone else what their true self is, or neither is it for any of us to tell anyone to tell us how to be ourselves. Buddhism is becoming the type of person who can cherish others for exactly who they are. So with this, right, I would like to check if there's any other questions that we would like to ask. Oh, there's one more question. Gosh, I'm so sorry if I can't pronounce your name properly, but let me just like unmute you. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. I am audible.
Hi.
Hi, I am audible. Hello.
I heard.
Yes.
I hear you. I hear you. What's up?
Actually, I am good, and it was very inspiring to hear you regarding the experience. And actually, I want to ask that I am a cancer patient, suffering from last 5 years, and I have gone through a lot of struggle through different surgeries, and this practice has really helped me out to overcome my fears, to undergo the treatment, and to make a hope as a decision. And regarding one question I want to ask, that how can we build an eternal happiness? Means actually, because it is very difficult at certain times, we undergo through a very low point and low life state, and that becomes very difficult. And where, even though we start chanting, we cannot forge ahead with ourselves. So it is very difficult. So can you please help me out regarding this question.
Wow. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, yes, thank you.
I want to say this and I want to share this. Earlier in my sharing, I mentioned this particular testimonial that I read. The title that inspired me profoundly, and that is, those who suffer the most deserve to be the happiest. So I hear you that you are going through a really tough patch in your life. I cannot try to understand what you must be going through the past couple of years. The fear of life and death, cancer. But think about this. We have encountered this life transformational practice of Nichiren Chinese Buddhism. And as they say, a sword is useless in the hands of a coward. We have read, we have seen, we have been around people who have gone through so much. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you and I know that there are also many people who suffer from cancer, who suffer from many other different life and death health conditions, life and death situations. So we all have our fair share of struggles, and sometimes the struggles could be different. But we all have Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So of course there are days when we're so plunged in a deep abyss of suffering and pain that it's so hard to chant, that even if we chant, we don't feel that immediate joy. But chant, and chant away. Chant through your tears. Chant through your battles. Chant and chant and chant. And persevere in chanting. Do not give up in chanting. Winter will always turn to spring. Yeah. And as long as you do not give up, you will be able to overcome your challenge. And I feel that the most important thing, the most important message that I received in my practice is to refuse to be defeated. So I hear you. I thank you for sharing your struggles with us. Can you promise with me to refuse to be defeated? Can you hear me? Is your mic on?
Yes.
So can you promise with me to refuse to be defeated?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Can you promise with me to persevere in chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo through the thick and the thin, through the pain and the joys in your life? Can you do that?
Yes. True.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inspiring.
Thank you. And I hope to hear your victory someday.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, next person, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, please know that, continue to develop your life and find the strength to fight despite whatever your body is telling you to. Because, when you chant, right, you turn to your Buddha condition, not your life, not just your current body, So please do your best. And yes, we will be praying for you as well. Don't give up. Yes. So a final question. Anyone have a final question?
Barbara,
Oh yes,
I
we
think.
have Barbara.
Oh, Barbara, hi! My goodness. So, for those of you who have been with us since the start, you have attended Barbara's sharing. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, how are you? I just really
I'm
wanted
doing
to
well.
thank you so much. And can you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and clear.
Okay. Just want to thank you so much, Ivan. And in your life is just a walking advertisement for this Buddhism. You exude such love and joy of life. It's just very encouraging to anyone to, because everybody, I want what you have.
You have what I have. You have.
You
You
know,
do.
and you as you walk through the world, I mean, I know people see you and want what you have, and you just shakabuku people with your life, and it's the most an amazing thing how you spread love and how you spread joy and how you spread appreciation with your very life. So I just want to thank you for your experience and for your strength and for your the hope that you give everyone and the love that you give everyone, and I'm so grateful to know someone like you in my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Barbara. Actually, Barbara's sharing reminded me of something, and many friends, many family around me tend to tell me this, and I often chose to receive it in another way, but I want to use this opportunity to clarify one thing. I am not special. I am not amazing. I am not inspiring. I am not that great, actually. I have my fair share of downs, and I shared with you a couple of them. It's just that I refuse to give up. I refuse to give in. I refuse to be defeated. When I was younger, so the religion that I was raised up in made me a very angry person, to be honest. And when I encountered this Buddhism, when I encountered the fact, the concept that I am responsible for my life, I'm not sure about you, about how fully anyone understands this simple sentence that you are responsible for your life. You are fully responsible for your life. I am fully responsible for my life. So I take pride in my victories, and I take responsibility for my failures, for my defeats, for my everything. So for example, when I overcome certain obstacles, of course I thank Ikeda Sensei. I thank him for paving the way through his example. I thank him for his writings, his encouragement. I thank this Buddhist practice. But don't get me wrong. I do not thank because someone else changed my life for me. I did not thank because someone else worked a miracle for me. No. And every time I get the slightest inkling that someone thought that maybe my life was a blessing, that oh, you're so blessed, that things happen for you. No. I struggled. I make my life happen. I use the sword of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo to fight every single battle of my life. And it's funny when, for example, friends of different religion just tell you quite honestly, for example, Christianity, they'll say, God bless you. You are blessed by God. Really? Did someone really bless my life? Did someone really help me through my struggles? Did someone really bring me through all my hardships? Did someone really create those victories for me? No, no one did. Who did? I did. And the same goes for you listening, you watching. You are responsible for your life, not your father, not your mother, not your husband, not your wife, not your children, not anyone around you, and definitely not God, not anyone in the whole entire universe. You are responsible for your life. And when you truly understand that at the core of your being, you realize that you have two choices. As I was faced with the two choices. Number one, to stand on that chair and jump off that building and end your life because you hate your life and you want to end your pain and suffering. Or number two, you choose hope. You choose to live and you choose to change. And that powerful decision to live, to change, will transform your life. Do not become a passive bystander of your own life. Do not become a passive victim of your own life. Take up your power. Own your power. Reclaim your power. And chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo to transform your own life for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your happiness. Because those who suffer the most deserve to be the happiest. And I'm sorry if this came out a little too harsh, but there's no other way, no lighter way that I could have ever said this to anyone. And this could be my last time talking to you, you watching. So I just wanted to emphasize and just bring home this message to you. Thank you. I think we should have our one last question.
Okay, thank you so much. Before we have a last question, in case any of you would like to make a move first, that's perfectly fine. Thank you so much for joining us again. So just now, I understand that someone named Chance wanted to ask a question. Can I unmute you, Chance? And you can ask a question? Okay, you're unmuted.
Hi, Chance. Can you hear me? Hello. Hi.
Hi. I'm a mother, and I just can't imagine losing a mother. And to be very honest, I wanted to do that myself. And as you just said, I have two choices. One is to just end it all, or two is to fight and change. I chose the more difficult path. And I'm proud to say that I'm a much stronger mother now. Although circumstances are still the same. My son doesn't talk to me. My daughter doesn't live with me. And I am still wondering
I hear you. Continue, please. Hello, Chance. Are you still there? Is your microphone working? Ziqing, is Chance still there? Is a mic working, Ziqing?
I'm trying to unmute her,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm not sure why it can't be unmuted. Hi, Chance. We hear you. Could you let us unmute you, please? Chance, what you have just shared, right? We really hope to be with you at this juncture. Are you able to make a move out of this room and come back in again? We will test your mic again. Are you able to do that?
We will wait for you.
Okay, she has left. Let's wait for her to come back in.
Okay. And thank you everyone for staying. It's 10:10 p.m.
Okay, great. She's getting connected again.
Fantastic.
Let's wait for her microphone to start.
Yes.
Hi, Chance. Could you help us turn on your microphone, please? Just connect to the internet audio. Yes. Okay. Okay, you're unmuted. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
welcome back.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was
No.
chased out. Okay,
No
my
problem.
question now is I wanted to do what your mom did, but I chose the difficult one, the second choice. So nothing has changed. Okay, I have 2 children. My son doesn't talk to me for more than 5 years, and my daughter has moved out for more than coming to 5 years. So I don't really know where am I going right now, but I just want to tell you I still choose the second path. I just don't want to, I mean, either path is difficult. It's not easy for me to just slip it off. I mean, that takes a lot of courage. I don't think I would want to do that. So I have chosen the second path, but the second path is equally tough. Because my eyes tells me, my children are not with me. My son doesn't talk to me, although my son lives with me. My daughter doesn't live with me, and I do not want to have the selfish thought of her coming back just because I want her back. If she's happy living outside, I don't think I should. But right inside me, I want my family back. So you said never give up, and you said those who suffer the most will be the happiest.
Deserve
But
to be the
honestly,
happiest.
I don't feel happy at all. I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you, I don't feel happy at all.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to have my family back, and I always tell myself that I can only be happy if I have my family back. What do you say about that? Because I think it's terrible for you right now. Your mom, who is so close to you, is gone, and your dad is not there. And I can understand how you feel. It's just like me, you know. I seem to have a family, but we are all not communicating, and secretly I just want everybody back. And I'm not happy. And I want to understand the one to suffer the most will be the happiest. It doesn't make sense to me, you know, like when will that happen? Or will it ever happen at all? Because right now, I'm really not happy. As a mother, my children are not talking to me. I mean, my children are not together. We are like having a family and yet not like a family.
I hear
So
you.
I
Okay.
cannot make sense of what you said just now.
Okay.
It's
Thank you,
terrible. I
Chance.
mean, yes, thank you.
I hear you. Thank you, Chance, for sharing so courageously about your situation. Number one, so those who suffer the most deserve to be the happiest. Now, we have to understand one thing, that no one owes us anything really. That we are a result of our own actions, that we are responsible for our own life, responsible for our present circumstance. And what it really means that those who suffer the most deserve to be the happiest. What it means is that because you have gone through all that you did, you can transform the poison into medicine. You can grow, you can use those nutrients to grow and blossom into such a strong and capable person. But what is happiness? What is happiness? Is it just smiling? Just being happy for no good reason? Is it just living a carefree life? I mean, you look at the world around you, you look on television, look at your friends, your colleagues, your family. People who are happy. What does that mean really? Just because they appear happy? Just because they appear smiling? They appear laughing? Joker, the movie, the character, is always laughing. But is he happy? So what is happiness? If your family, your children, your son, your daughter, if they come back to your house and live with you, does that make you happy? If my mom was still alive, would that make me happy? Would she be happy? Or will it just be a vicious cycle? Earlier, when I said the two options, to give up or to fight, to be honest, there's no illusion. In life, we've got so many choices. We've got so many choices. We can choose to just live with our pain, live with our struggles, like so many human beings out there, right? So many of them are suffering, and not many of them are actively taking the power, taking the responsibility for their own life to change their circumstance. Some of them are praying to some deity, praying to some god to change their life for them. Some people are just, living life one day at a time, YOLO, like partying, watching K-dramas, just living life one day at a time. But what is happiness? Happiness is, number one, a decision, an active decision that you have to make. And for your particular sharing, I feel that it is very, very, very important to do three things. Three things that are not rocket science, but three things that you must do wholeheartedly You must put your heart and soul into doing these 3 things. And you must not allow yourself to slacken in these 3 things. So Chance, are you ready? Can you hear me, Chance? Chance, is she there, Zijing?
Yes.
Can you? Okay,
I need
great.
to do 3 things. Okay.
Yes, fantastic. 3 things. Number 1, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You have to chant. I'm not saying chant 30 minutes each day. I'm not even saying 1 hour each day. We have to chant 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, rain or shine. You have to center your life around Daimoku, around the law of the universe. You have to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. That has to be the basis, the foundation of your life. So chant, number 1.
Mhm.
And number 2, you need to study. You need to read about Buddhism. You need to read and study Buddhism with your life. Don't just read the line and line and line and line. Don't make it a marathon to just finish the book. No. Read the life. Read the book. Read the writings of Nichiren Daishonin. Read the writings of Ikeda Sensei with your life. And truly understand what each word means. So read and study and chant. And thirdly, dialogue. Open your heart, open your mind, open your life. Talk to people around you. They may not be your children, they may be someone else's children. You know what really warms my heart is when someone loves me, is when someone cares of me, show me the concern as though I am the son. My late grandma did that. My late grandma loved me as though I was a son. My aunt did that for me. My aunt loved me as though I am the child. And many wonderful people around the world, when they could, they shower concern, they shower care to me as though they would to the son, as though they would to the child. So can you do that? Can you expand your heart, expand your life to talk to people around you as though they were your child? They can be your age, they can be 50 years old, they can be 60 years old, they can be 90 years old, but everyone is someone's child. You are someone's child. I am someone's child. Who's to say that you are only a child when you are 10 years old, when you're 4 years old? Everyone's child. Everyone is someone's child. So open your life, open your heart, open your mouth, have a dialogue, have a heart-to-heart dialogue with people around you, and base that conversation, base that dialogue with number 1, Daimoku. Number 2, your study. Is that okay?
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, promise with me that you, promise with me please, that you will take full responsibility for your life. Take full responsibility for your happiness because you deserve it. Do it for yourself. Do it for your children. Do it every single day. You might feel so motivated tonight that you can't sleep and just want to chant and chant and chant and chant. But for you, but tomorrow, next week, next month, when you revert to your dormant life state, that low life condition where your demons are telling you, fuck it. fuck the world, fuck my kids.
Mm.
How dare them be so rude? How dare them be unfair? Fuck that demon. Fuck that demon. Chant. Do not give power to those thoughts. Do not give power or attention to those useless thoughts. Give power to your voice. Give power to Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Give power to yourself to transform and change your life. I'm sorry for the use of profanity, but yes.
No
1,
worry.
2, 3. 1,
No
2, 3. Okay? Let's do it together.
I always ask myself.
Do it. And I'll do it with you, with my life, your life and my life. Let's do it together. Is that okay?
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I
Thank you,
deserve to be
everyone.
the happiest.
Absolutely. One moment, please.
Hi.
Hi, Cici, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm so sorry. I had a
No
technical
problem.
issue, but I was
No
listening.
problem.
Thank you so much, Chance, for sharing once again. And thank you so much, Ivan. I feel like what we have today, right, is really precious. And I thank every single one of you, right, who have decided to stay through the very end. Thank you for joining our Living the NHR series and also joining Ivan. And once again, I would like to remind everyone, if you would like to connect with Ivan after tonight, right, may I remind you of his email address again? Is it okay with you, Ivan?
Absolutely.
Yay! Okay, so I'll read out your email address again. Ivan, Ivan, Lim, Lim, Jin, Jing, Guo, Guo. Ivan Lim Jing Guo at gmail.com. If anyone
Say it again. Say it again in case they miss it out.
Sure. Ivan Lim Guo. So if you would like to email Ivan and connect with him, right, please email this address. And once again, thank you all for joining us and making the choice to be here with us until this moment. Let's not limit the degree of happiness we are capable of. And tomorrow when we wake, right, let's claim victory. Let's encourage one more person without us. And I really hope, right, next week we will see each of you again, once again, at this same time, on this same Zoom link. So thank you so much, everyone. Ivan, passing back to you.
Thank you, Cici, for that wonderful conclusion. I want to end off with this. It's about COVID-19. I want to share my observation. I want to share what irritates me about this situation is that people are rushing to get back to the life, get back to work, get back to school, get back to the busy. I've got no time to change my life. I've got no time for my family. I've got no time. I'm busy. That kind of life. The excuse that people gave themselves all the time. And they are rushing to get back to the excuse because they are uncomfortable to face the hard truth that now they have time. They have all the time in the world. 24 hours times 1 month. They've got so much time. And they are uncomfortable with the fact that they have been a liar to themselves, that they do have time. They just don't have the balls to change their life. They don't have the balls to take responsibility for their life. So, to you watching, I hope that you are different. I hope that you are not rushing to revert back to your normal life. I hope that you will cherish this 1 month. I hope that this is a 1 month of me time for you to really reflect on your life, to think hard about your life. What is it that makes you happy? Why are you alive? What's your mission? What is your purpose? Think about that using this 1 month. So when this 1 month ends, you and me can create a whole new age. can start anew, start afresh, and we can do things better than we did last time. So don't rush. Use this time. You have 1 month. Use it wisely. Use it to create value. Use it to prepare. Use it to think. Thank you. Okay, we have come to the end of tonight's session. I want to thank every single one of you for lending me your ears. I hope that my sharing has helped you in one way or another, that you can relate in one way or another. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Good night, good morning, good evening. Have a great day. Goodbye. I'll end the meeting in 3,
Yes.
2, 1.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.